This is Zone One Radio.
Joining me now, one of the few drivers who makes a living out of turning a wheel in anger in this country. It's the very talented Sarah Reeder. Sarah, how are you?
Very well. Nice to see you. How are you?
I'm good, but both of us have had a bit of a nightmare getting here, haven't we? You've been doing the less glamorous side of driving this afternoon.
Yes, the sitting on the M25 for several hours unnecessarily.
I cannot tell you how grumpy you look. Hopefully we'll cheer you up. Thank you for agreeing to do this. Now, you're down here overnighting in Dartford because you're off to Brands tomorrow. What are you doing in Brands?
That's right. I've got a couple of drivers who are racing Caterhams this weekend at Brands, so they've got a test day tomorrow. So I'm driver coaching them, trying to improve their lap times ready for the weekend.
So what does that involve? What type of people are they, and how do you help them?
Well, they both started in the Caterham Academy last year, which is the novice series, and now they've moved up the next rung of the Caterham Motorsport ladder to Road Sports. And tomorrow I will go out and drive their cars and set some data, and then we'll compare the data between my laps and theirs and see where they can improve.
So they're not kind of weekend hobbyist gentleman farmers. They're actually people who are taking their racing quite seriously.
Bit of both, really. One of them actually is a gentleman farmer. But they've, as most people who start out in motorsport, they've got the bug quite quickly and are very keen. If they're going to do it, they want to do it properly, and then get the best skills and improve themselves rather than just dipping in and out of it every now and then. So,
speaking of starting in motorsport, where did you first get bitten?
Caterham. I did the Caterham Academy in 2000. I was only 17, didn't know what I was doing. Dad wanted to build a Caterham and I raced it. And that was it, really. Kind of escalated from there.
Do you have any memories of motor racing as a kid? Obviously, your dad's a bit of a fan, a bit of an anorak. Obviously, if he's built his own Caterham, did he take you anywhere when you were younger?
Yeah, we used to go along to F1 testing at Silverstone on the Friday. And a family friend used to race sprites and midgets and stuff like that. But apart from that, no, I was never into karting or anything like that. So I was quite late coming into it, really. All
right, so I'm going to ask you about how things are currently after you filled in the music request form. What's your first choice of music, your first record you ever bought?
It was the Presidents of the United States of America, Peaches. Bit of a random song.
No, it's not. If it was 1996, I'm doing my maths now, you must have been about 13 years old, and that's actually quite cool for a 13-year-old, isn't it?
I guess so.
So where are you racing now? What's this season?
I'm in the Speed Euro Series in a Juno CN prototype. First weekend was at Paul Ricard, bit of a mixed weekend. We had a third and an 11th, and then the next race was at Spa, which unfortunately I didn't do. We had engine problems. And then the next race we've got is Imola at the end of this month, which I'm really looking forward to. Okay, so it's a pan-European series. Yeah. What are the specs of the car? What makes it different? How long are the races? How would you sum up the series? It's two-driver endurance racing, so the races are usually an hour and a half. So you'll have a pit stop halfway through. All the cars have 2-litre Honda Civic engines in, which are tuned up to 250 brake, all on paddle shift, and chassis manufacturers are free. There's quite a few French companies, but we've stuck with British and gone with Juno. They're based in Preston. Hooray! Paul Ricard. Again, my only motor racing experience hands-on is on computer games. For me, the one that sticks out there is it has an incredibly long straight. How fast do you get up to? The car was geared for about 158 mile an hour, and then the corner at the end of the straight, you just turn in flat and try and hang on to it. Oh my goodness! Yeah. Is that your favourite corner of the year? No, certainly being at Spa going up Eau Rouge would have been my favourite, but sadly I didn't get to race there. Paul Ricard is a very good circuit, but I prefer older circuits that are built around features rather than man-made circuits that are new. Dug out of the earth, yeah. Yeah. And the reason I'm here, actually, we met in a bar, but we don't talk about that. But one of the reasons I'm here seeing you today is that I'm following this Sunoco Challenge. I think it's a great story. I spoke to Felipe Nasser, who won it last year in January from Daytona, and you are now in the running
for that seat in the 24 Hours of Daytona next January. That's a little bit of a bonus, isn't it?
Yeah, definitely. I was part of the challenge a couple of years ago when it was Speed UK, the series, and we came close to winning it. And it would be an amazing prize to win. It's certainly a box to tick on my list of things to do.
What do you reckon your chances are this season? Obviously, the last race not great for you.
I don't know. We'd have to rely on lots of other people having bad seasons now, or unfortunate weekends for us to come back up the standings. So
okay, well, whose tyres do you want me to go and slash? Who are you actually worried about?
Well, I think the guy that's leading at the moment is in our series, Ivan Bellarosa, the Italian guy.
Mm-hmm.
I think he's got a massive points lead over everyone at the moment, so it would be hard to stop him at the moment.
Yeah, but it's race 2, it's fine.
Yeah, okay. Yeah.
Clean slate.
Yeah.
And what about motorsport as a consumer? Are you enjoying the current Formula 1 season?
Yeah, I am actually. Dipped out of Formula 1 a few years ago, same as everyone, a bit boring, not a lot going on. But the last couple of years have been really interesting. Usually when there's a race on, I'm working, so I don't get to see it.
Yeah.
But certainly enjoying how open the championship is this year. Always a different winner.
What do you think of the whole, everybody's talking about DRS being an artificial means of overtaking and stuff like that, and I find people are being quite snobby about it. What do you think?
I think as long as it improves the chances of people overtaking, then it's a gimmick that's doing good at the moment. You know, if they can't re-engineer the car so you can follow closely behind the car and get in the slipstream and pull out, then they've got to do something about it. And it seems to be working. It's producing interesting racing. There are plenty of other championships that have something similar, like a push-to-pass button.
Is there any other racing that you do watch or that you find more interesting or more exciting? Because I'm starting to find all these little, obviously your own series, but all these little series where things are a little closer fought, perhaps, and a little less corporate and a little more exciting. Is there anything that you would ask us to keep an eye on?
I'd certainly go and watch any form of Caterham racing if you can, an official Caterham championship.
Oh, I could. Oh, you're not even wearing the green and yellow jumpsuit. No. Apparently those are coming, you said. Yes,
I'm an instructor for CDX, only freelance. But yes, we've all been brought up by the F1 team. New logos, new branding. It's exciting times, especially for Caterham. I think there's an awful lot they can achieve now with a big backer like that behind them.
Yeah, and you get to wear green and yellow. The other place you're at that I'm really intrigued, and I am going to come and stalk you one day and find out a bit more about it, is Brooklands working for Mercedes.
Yeah.
Those must be posh corporate days. I fancy a look. I'm going next month. I've never been. What's the place like, and what's it like to work there?
It's an incredible facility. There's nowhere else like it. Fantastic building, lots going on inside. Brilliant place to take the family. It's free admission. And the driving experiences range from people's birthday presents, maybe half hour or hour experiences, up to big corporate events. So it's always a different angle to the experience.
It's quite interesting. The car on the way here, we were talking about you actually make a living out of driving a racing car and helping other people to drive a racing car. But it's not all Monaco, is it?
No, not at all. The reality is that you're up at 5 a.m, you travel 2 hours to get to work, you do a very long day sometimes out in the rain, sopping wet, trying to keep that smile on your face and the enthusiasm going. Yeah,
the McDonald's grin.
Yeah, and then the end of the day you pack everything up and you get back in the car and you travel another 2 hours to where you're going next, and you live out a suitcase. So,
okay, the 48 hours I'm interested in, talk me through it. You said that you've got a day where you've got Donington, and you finish at Donington at 9 o'clock at night, and then you start at Brooklands working for Mercedes down there. Walk me through that 48 hours from 6 o'clock in the morning on the Donington day. How's it work?
Well, I'll be working for Booker Track, which is UK's leading track day company. We'll get there for 8. We'll sign all the drivers on and give a driver's briefing. And then it depends. I could be in anything and everything that day. Drivers can buy 20-minute sessions, so you can be in a Caterham 1 minute or a Mark 1 Golf. So it's people bringing their own cars to the track day? Yeah. or you could be out in a GT3 Porsche.
Is that nerve-wracking when you're in the Mark 1 Golf? Is that...
It can be. Sometimes we take a look at the car and maybe not get in it, but it's rare. You've done that though? You've said, I'm not driving that. Yeah, at some point I have, definitely.
Have you ever embarrassingly crashed somebody else's car?
No.
Oh.
No.
You're not driving hard enough, are you?
It's definitely not on the list of things to do at your day at work.
No, fair enough. So Donington and people get in the car, so it could be anything from a Mark 1 Golf to a GT3 Porsche.
Yeah.
And how long does that day last? How much time of it are you actually out there driving people around, and how much are you out there standing around in the cold with your hands in your pockets?
It depends. I mean, Book a Track are doing a lot of corporate events at the moment, so you'll be in car from 9 till 5 with an hour's lunch.
It's a bit more structured, I guess, rather than people turning up for a track day.
Yeah, I mean, track days, the customers can book 20-minute slots, so you've got all those slots available during the day. You're normally very busy in the morning and maybe a little less in the afternoon, but there's plenty of stuff to do and chip in with. You never...
So Donington ends at 9 o'clock at night. Why so late? What's going on there?
It's just Book a Track will do a day and then a separate evening event. Okay. Just while the summer hours.
And while they've got the venue, it makes sense to do two events. Yes. Okay. And then what happens when you finish that night?
Try and get some food, get a good night's sleep.
Is there anywhere to eat round Donington?
I go back and stay with friends, or my parents live in the Midlands, so go and stay with them. Yeah. And then, back up early in the morning and head off.
What time do you have to be at Brooklands?
9 o'clock for a briefing.
Okay. And how is that a different experience to working in Mark 1 Golfs in Donington? Is it a different environment? Yes.
It's much more structured. It's a smaller circuit, much smaller. Mm-hmm. The cars are very expensive and very powerful. You have to project the corporate image.
What will you be driving? What cars will you be driving?
They're all AMGs.
Okay. So, are they the gull-wing door ones, or are they just the whole range of AMGs?
A whole range, but we do have the SLS gull-wing doors as well. So, yeah, you can be in anything and everything that day. They're phenomenal bits of kit, but yeah, very expensive.
Yeah, no, you don't want to scratch one of those, do you? That's about 3 months' wages down the drain. And again, so that one you have to be a little more formal, do you?
You've always got to be professional no matter where you work, but you want to give the customer a good time but keep them safe and really highlight and showcase the product, how wonderful Mercedes are, whether you're in an AMG or you've got a C220 diesel.
Personally, where do you actually like working the most? What's your circuit where you get that secret little smile, that little glint in your eye?
I do like working at Donington. It's a very fast-flowing circuit, but I like doing the private tuition, the one-to-one coaching. It's much more rewarding. You get to spend a whole day with someone and
rather than
really see how they progress.
Rather than a 20-minute fairground ride.
Well, yeah, it can be very difficult depending on the driver's ability to get all the information that you need to get across in 20 minutes, especially if they're a novice. You don't want to overload them, but you've got to try and get that message across to them.
But so as a racer, where do you like in the UK?
Again, Donington or Brands Hatch Grand Prix, but it's not very often you get to race on that. So.
Brands is quite special, isn't it? I went there a couple of weeks ago for the DTM meeting, and I get that little lift when I see that Welcome to Brands Hatch sign. It's just good things happen there. What's it like to drive as a driver?
It's good. It's very challenging, especially if you're on the Indy circuit. It's a very short lap.
That's the small, tight one. You basically go up and around the back, and you can almost see the whole track from the stands, can't you?
Yeah, that's it. But because it's such a short lap, it's very technical. You can lose a lot of time in one corner and your whole lap's gone, or you can lose little bits everywhere and you can be way off the pace. And qualifying at Brands is always very tight. You can have the whole field within a second of each other.
Yeah, but it's great to watch. Thank you. And just looking forward to the future, just to round stuff off, where's your career going? What are you going to do? What are your ambitions?
The plan is to race an LMP car, LMP2 or LMP1 in the Le Mans series. Yeah. And then do the Le Mans 24-hour. That's the goal. How
long is it going to take for you to achieve that ambition?
It's just a case of money. If someone gave me the money, I could do it now.
Because that's how those teams work, isn't it? You tend to have one gentleman farmer, again, another thing, and then you have a couple of racers on the team to make the gentleman farmer look good, don't you?
Yeah, but some of the team combinations now have got some serious driver pairings where all three are professional drivers. So it's a hard place to break into, and as even in Formula One, it's all driven by money. If you can bring a big sponsor with you, then you've got the seat.
Yeah. So it's you just got this look of frustration on your face. You're just sitting there going, "I'm good enough as a driver, but I'm not." The frustrating thing is finding the sponsorship. Is that how you would sum it up?
Yeah, definitely. And there's quite a few of my competitors in the speed series that are in the similar boat. You know, plenty of talent to go and do it, but just haven't got the financial backing.
Yeah, but as I say, you are. I mean, I was talking to Clang. I was talking to Damon Hill the other day. Clang, and his son Josh wants to go racing as well. And even with the head start of having Damon Hill as your dad, he has a sponsor, but it's not a big enough sponsor. It is not, as in Pastor Maldonado, the Venezuelan government with oil money and telecoms money, and he pointed out that actually in football there are 20 Premier League teams in each country and 220 people if you think 11 per team and whatever, but there aren't very many paying driver slots in the world, are there?
No.
How many actually are there? Because if you think Formula One, there are just 10 or 12, aren't there? And the rest are paying for it. Yeah,
definitely. And I think that's what certainly the general public and the people outside looking in don't realise, that most people are paying to be where they are. You know, I think the MSA had a statistic a couple of years ago that there was, of all the licence holders in the UK, there were only 2 that were proper paid professional top class race drivers.
Now I'm trying to work out which 2 that would. Do we know what? Can we say what 2 they are?
I think at the time it was Coulthard
and Jensen.
Yeah.
So just the 2 Formula One teams. So you're doing okay then to actually be making a living out of the sport you love.
Yeah. I think I'd lose some of my enthusiasm for teaching if I wasn't racing.
Yeah.
I think I'd find that a bit of a struggle, but I love what I do. I'm very lucky to be able to do it.
And you've still got ambition, and that shines through. It's really good. Sarah, it's really lovely to meet you. Thank you very much for your time. Cheers.
ZoneOneRadio.com